Right. So, and lastly, it is highly customizable because of the large ecosystem with so many distribution, something that most people would name as distros, right? So many distribution. It is highly customizable. It is easy. It is very, very easy to maintain. Okay, all right. So without wasting much of your time, please kindly get your terminals ready and let's explore the world of Linux together. So today, my co-founders will be taking the class, Oluwaseun and Nurudeen, right? So please, if you have any question, you can always put them down. When it's time for questions, you can just take that. And for those that are already versed in Linux, right, you can also practice alongside. Again, daas.ng is not for people that have experience. And we're saying this again, this is for people that are just starting the DevOps journey. All right, so let's explore together, get your terminals ready, and we should be good to go. Seun, over to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dapo. Thanks for that very wonderful introduction and very brief. Good afternoon, everyone. Like you said, my name is Oluwaseun Oyetoyinbo, and welcome to the Linux Fundamentals class. For today, I'll be taking it together along with my other co-founder, Nurudeen Kamilu, and we are set to wow your mind. If you don't have any experience yet, you've never used Linux before, don't be scared. Just relax yourself. Have your thinking cap on, your mind ready to learn. And if you are a master in it, you've been using it for a very long time, you still get something to learn. And one thing I said, and which we emphasized last week, is in the space of DevOps, you learn every day. It's continuous learning. CL, the CI/CD is continuous learning. You can't stop learning. There are new things that will come up every day for you. And so to take this class this afternoon, I believe during the course of the week, we shared some guides to set up our environment. And I just have only one slide that will just do the theoretical part of our discussion this afternoon. And after that, I'll go straight to my terminal. I'll go to my virtual boss to start the discussion. And so, like Dapo mentioned, why Linux? I mean, we all know Linux is an environment, is an operating system. It's not new to you. I mean, today we have everybody runs on Linux, whether you know it or not. You have a phone. Your Android phone is a variant of Linux operating system. And even your iOS is also a variant of Linux operating system. So there's nowhere you can run from. That is what is driving the world today. That's what is driving IT today. And if you check, even in the enterprise space, most organizations, hardly will you find them not running on Linux. The core banking system of most banks, it runs on Linux. So there's no way you want to run to. You must talk to Linux. And that's why we've considered it very important for us to expose us to this. And so the first thing you do, your operating system cannot stand on its own. It needs something to write. Just like you want to go from one place to another, you need a car. You understand? Your car, that is your hardware. That is the physical device. Anything you can see. Oh, sorry, let me share my slide. Apologies. All right, I believe you can see my slide now. I just have only one slide, then I'll have to be strictly answered. And so, yeah, I was talking about the operating system. Is today, whatever thing you talk about, your phone, you talk about software and hardware. And the hardware is the physical device you can see. That physical device I can see is my hardware. Today I have a phone, that is my hardware. There are other things that is making it possible for you to do everything you are doing with your phone. You want to send an email, you want to make a call, you are chatting. It's done by the software. That is the operating system. Today we're on this call, and there's no how you'd have joined this call without software and hardware coming together. So you need a physical device, and your physical device this afternoon for most of us would either be your laptop or your mobile phone. You have a laptop device. So your hardware is your physical device that you can see, you can touch it, you can feel it. That is your hardware. And when you leave the space of your hardware, you go into your operating system. And the operating system, what you know of, what most people might not be able to relate to it is you just know there's an operating system that's running on my system. Oh, I have Windows 10 running, I have Windows 11 running, I have Linux running, I have Ubuntu and the likes. That is operating system. But it's divided further into two. You have the kernel and the shell. The kernel there is what interacts directly with your hardware. The kernel part of operating system interacts directly with the hardware. Everything you are doing, every command that is coming in to the operating system, the kernel takes it and gives it to the hardware. For instance, if I give a command, shut down my system, that is a command that has been sent to the operating system. How come your device, your laptop knows that it should shut down? When you do restart, how come your laptop knows that it should restart? So the software is driving the hardware, is telling it what to do, is taking control and telling it, oh, you should go to sleep. When you click on the start button and say hibernate, sleep, your laptop is doing that response because the operating system is controlling it. And what is actually sending that command to the hardware is your kernel. So it tells it you need to shut down now, or you need to restart now, or I want to print now. I'm sending some documents to the printer. It knows that there's a printer connected to it. If you send the document to the printer and there's no connection to your printer, there's no printer device connected to your laptop, it knows that there's no device connected. How is it able to sense that? The kernel. So every interaction between the operating system and the hardware is handled by the kernel. That is the part of the operating system. There's another part of the operating system that is called the shell, and that is your terminal. That is where you run all your commands. Every command you run is handled by the shell. The shell takes that command and send it to the kernel and say, I want to print, I want to shut down, I want to restart. In executing that command, the command goes to the kernel gives it to the hardware. So the part of the operating system that interacts with the user is your shell. All the commands you enter into it, it gets to the shell. The shell takes it, executes it, and you start seeing it. I will start doing shell. By the time you open the shell, now you get to understand it better. So it might be abstract, but just take it in your mind. Your operating system has two components. It has two parts. There's the part that talks with the hardware, and there's the part that talks with the user. So the part that talks with the hardware is your kernel, and the other part that is talking with the user is the shell. You cannot talk directly to the hardware. For instance, even though you are touching your laptop and you're saying restart, you are not the one talking. It's not a direct talking. It's not a direct connection. There is someone that is taking that command that is helping you to express what you have in mind. I want to print. Your laptop does not understand I want to print. It doesn't understand it. Even though you are telling it print, it doesn't understand what you just said. However, the kernel understands that command that you have sent to the shell, and it gives it to the hardware. It interprets it to the hardware and let the hardware do what you have told the hardware to do. And in response, hardware gives the command back to the kernel. Yes, I'm shutting down. Yes, I'm restarting. The kernel talks to the shell. Don't worry, in 5 minutes time, there'll be a restart and everybody is fine. Laptop shut down, system is off, and you're good to go. And there's the application part of the user now, because we run applications today. We have millions of applications running, different apps running on your mobile phone, on your laptop, different apps that is running on your laptop. So the user interacts with the application, you talk to the application. When you are telling your Microsoft Word to start, save the document, save to this folder, save to the desktop, save to the document folder, save to the download folder. A command is running at the back end that you don't know of. So you are seeing a GUI. Oh, I can see, oh, very nice Word document. Oh, PowerPoint, look at very colorful. What I'm doing now on my PowerPoint, a command has been sent to the shell. And the shell takes it and sends to the kernel. When I launch PowerPoint, when I do F5, I want a full screen presentation mode. That command is sent to the shell. And so before now, it was strictly more of terminals, and because of these days, things are changing. A lot of people want to interact with GUI, want to talk to GUI. Terminal might be a little bit boring. So just to bring a little bit of interaction, a little bit of engagement, GUI came up. However, behind your GUI, there's a terminal. You might not see it. There's a terminal running. If you start using, I think we'll take PowerShell. I'm not too sure. If we take PowerShell, you see the beauty. You see how your GUI and terminal interacts. You don't see. So what is presented to you in a layman language is the front end. The front end is you come to a website. Oh, I want to buy a laptop on my website. Oh, I want to order for pizza. I want to order for whatever. You are seeing all those things. Front end, you are seeing it. It's GUI. You can touch something that is appealing to your eyes. But there is something that is not appealing to your eyes. Back end that is happening when you come onto your what's it called, your internet banking app for your bank, and you log on. There are things that are happening. You just click, oh, I want to move 5,000 naira, transfer to, enter the phone number or enter the account number, you enter it. A lot of things are happening back end that you never be appealing to you, that they've been able to take care of and just present something appealing to you, to your eyes. Oh, this app is very nice. Oh, I can see the account balance I have and all those things. When you do check balance, your USSD, there are a lot of things that are happening behind that you're not seeing. So those stuffs are handled by the operating system. The application is handled by your application, but is tied to the shell. And so if you leave the application layer, you have, let me just have this. So you have this. You have the user or users, whichever one you're okay with. So you have users. So this is just simple terms. What you are talking about when you talk about your laptop. There's an hardware, there's an operating system, you have the application, different application. I'm using PowerPoint application, and you have the user. You have the user at the moment here, you have the user using it. Without the user, that flow is not complete. The operating system cannot just run on its own. You need the user to tell it to give whatever command you want it to run, to execute. It cannot run on its own. PowerPoint will not just come up on its own and start working. I have to be the one using it. So you have users, you have the hardware, you have the application, you have the operating system. And I've explained to us, the operating system has two parts. There's the shell part and the kernel part. The kernel is talking to the hardware. The shell is talking to you, the user. So there are times you might bypass the application and you go straight to shell. And there are times as the user, you're talking to the application, but the application is indirectly or behind the scene is talking to the shell, which you might not know. So most times we say, I don't believe in, hey, I hate Windows command prompt. I don't like to talk, GUI, I'm a GUI person. Forget it, your GUI is not working on its own. It's still talking to the shell at the back. So this is just a summary of the theoretical part of our operating system, Linux. And now let's go to the practical bit of it. Like I mentioned to us, yes, we are told to spin a VM virtual machine on a virtual bus. This is a virtual bus manager. It's also an application. You can also make use of I have the VMware workstation. So just because we didn't talk about this one, I will just stick to the virtual bus. And for the virtual bus, yeah. So I did mention we decided that we want to really focus on hands-on, and that's the reason why we said we sent in the document that we sent in to help you. I believe nobody is having any challenge or difficulty with regards to virtual bus. I won't talk much about it. I'm going straight to the hands-on. And yeah, I'm using Kali Linus. Sorry, what's happening? Oh, let me share. Just hold on. Can you see my screen now? So I'm using Kali Linux. Last week, Nurudeen gave a little clue about why he called me Kali. I enjoy using Kali Linux. So there are different distribution. We've talked about kernel. So there are different distribution for Linux. Basically, there are two major distributions. You have the RPM and you have the Debian. You have the RPM and Debian. Maybe this will help us. I want to use slide. So you have your RPM and you have your Debian distribution. Some people call it distro. Some other people call it distribution. Whichever one you are comfortable with, you are still saying the same thing. So RPM is simply Red Hat Package Manager. That is RPM. So any RPM distro, and for your RPM distro, you have Red Hat itself, you have CentOS or CentOS. You have Fedora. These are the RPM distribution. And for the Debian, you have your Ubuntu. Basically, the Ubuntu is you have Ubuntu, you have Kali. You have Kali. I think there is Parrot also. I'm sure Parrot will also be a Debian distribution. And so there are two differences. The command differs. They have different package manager. If you are using a Debian distribution, your package manager will likely be dpkg, or you have the apt, or you have the apt-get. The apt-get is more of your, this is the more advanced option for apt. The difference between the apt and the apt-get. For apt, when you're installing a package using apt, if there are dependencies you can't find, it ignores it. It throws error, it might terminate that installation. But when you're using apt-get, if there are dependencies for your package and it's not finding them, it's going to pull those dependencies, get them installed so that you can eventually install your package. And if you are using the RPM, you do more of Yum. Use your Yum install. That is the package manager for RPM. So you do Yum install. And this other one, it could be dpkg install and the likes. So that's the theoretical part. So we come straight to our terminal. And like I told us, this is our operating system, and you have your shell. This is my shell. And if you notice very well, you will see, if you look at this icon, you see that it shows that I'm in the home directory. It shows that I'm in the home directory. And this is your terminal, this is your shell. Let's see what kind of shell am I using. To get that, the kind of shell I am using, there are different kinds of shell. You have the Z shell, there's SH shell, there's bash shell. And so if you want to see the shell you are using, so you can see my shell. I'm using the Z shell. I'm using the Z shell. There is also SH shell.
No,
Yes.
Mr. Seun,
Yes, sir.
can you zoom your terminal such that we can see it? Because this zoom window, I reduce it so that I can open my share side by side so that we can see very well.
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's manageable. Yeah, it's good now.
Believe it's fine now. Okay, so this is your command prompt. And so I'm starting with, we've talked about history. I want to now talk about the shell itself. And the way Linux operates. For Windows, you talk about folders. For Linux, we're not talking about folders. We're talking about directories. We're talking about files. And there are different directories in your Linux operating system. Different directories that you should know about. There are a lot of them, and you can go and play around them. But I'll just mention a very few of them. And I want to check my directory now. I want to see where I am in this particular system. This is my laptop. This is my system. And just like when you log onto your Windows laptop, you want to check which part, where is your current location? Are you in the the desktop? Are you on the download folder? Are you on the document? Are you on music? Are you on video? Are you on pictures? You have different options. And so what you do is the first command you run is pwd, which means your present working directory. Your present working directory. And so you can see that I'm in the home folder and I'm in the Kali folder. So Kali is a user on the system. If I want to see who is logged on, I do who am I? So it tells you Kali. So that is the user. So you can have different users. So for every user that is on the system, there is a home folder for them. Every user you create on the system, we're still going to come to how to create users. For every user you create on the system, there's a home folder for them. And that's what you have here. And so I've talked about the present working directory. That is to query, I want to know where am I on this system at the moment. And you can also check, if you do, there's a command that is called change directory, CD. CD is just used to change the directory. You want to move from one folder to another folder. That is what you use your CD for. And so I want to go to my root folder. Can you see the difference? You can see the difference between the icon, the first and the second one. Once I see this first one, I know I'm in the home folder. Once I see that, I know I'm in the home folder. And when anytime I see a slash, once I see a slash, it tells me that I'm in the root folder. And if I do present working directory, you can see it tells me I'm in the root folder. Let's go back to our home directory. This is my home directory. I believe you're all following me. So we've talked about 3 commands now. Everything about the shell, everything about the terminal is all about command, and it runs very fast. Very fast. It doesn't take the time it will take for you to launch a GUI. You have executed like 4 or 5 commands already. And so we've talked about knowing the shell where you are. This is my current shell. We've talked about which directory am I in. I've shown us how you can get your directory. And I also told us about how you can change from one folder to another folder. Changing from one folder to another folder. And now let's run another command that is called list directory. So it's called ls. ls is, I want to see the structure of where I am now. How many folders we have there? So you can see. On my home directory, I have Kali. And when I go into Kali, you can see I have desktop, I have downloads, I have music folder, I have pictures. These are all folders that I have in here. You can see them. The one in blue colors, they are folders. You can see they're all folders. And you can go into them. I can go into my desktop. So you can keep changing from one directory to another directory. If I do CD desktop. You can see I'm now on the desktop directory. And if I do pwd, so it tells you I'm in the home directory. When I move down from the home directory, I'm entering into the Kali directory, and from Kali I'm into what? Desktop. This is similar structure to what you have for Windows. You know, you have your C drive. Your C drive, inside of your C drive, you have a folder that is called the users folder. And inside the users folder, you now have the user you've created. Let's say I've created Kali, I've created John, I've created Das. All those are users, and I can see them in my users folder. If I now go further in my users folder, I've entered into John or I've entered into Kali folder. Inside the users folder, you can now see other folders, subfolders, your desktop, your picture, your documents, your OneDrive, and the likes. All those are packaged and they are found under the user folder. You get, which is the user of that system. So the user of this particular system is Kali. You can create other users. You can create other users. So if I'm going out of this desktop folder, all I just to do is just do cd dot dot. If you do cd dot dot, it takes you directly back to the home directory. And if you do pwd, you can see I'm back to my home directory. I'm back to my home directory. I'll try to run very fast. So if you want to go back to your desktop, you do cd desktop. You can see. And let's see, let's list, do you have any file or any document on this desktop? Yes, I have files. These are files. I can list them, this long list. So you can see, these are all files. And how do I differentiate? How do I tell if I have a file or a folder? If you come to the first dash you have here, you can see here it's showing dash because it's not a directory. If it's a directory, that bit will be turned on. You see D. Let me make it clearer to us. I've left my desktop, I've come back to my home directory. If I list it now, if I do a long listing, can you see it? You can see the desktop folder. Because it's a directory, you can see D in front of it. You can see D in front of it. So once you have D, it tells you that that is a directory you are dealing with. If there's nothing like, if you just a dash you are seeing, then it tells you that it's a file, or it can even be an executable file, or it can be an archive file, like you can see here. So it's just a file that you are stealing. If it's a directory, it will be D. If it's not a directory, then you have a dash there. And so we've talked about how you can see what are the content of a folder. And another thing we can do is, while I'm right on this home directory, I can tell it, so I can query ahead and say, I want to see the content of this desktop. Okay. So if I want to see, let me do something. Okay. So this is what I wanted to achieve. Yeah. So if I am currently in the home directory, And I want to see the content of a folder. I want to see the content of a folder. So you can see I've listed, I want to see what is in this desktop folder. And so it's giving me that. If I do documents, or let me just do videos. So there's nothing in my video. That's why you are seeing 0. It's saying that the number of, you have nothing in your video is empty. I can also run and say, give me what, do I have anything in pictures? Nothing in pictures. Okay, let's see if I have anything in download. So I have some things in download. You can see I have files in download, and it has listed them. These are about 5 different files in download. And so this is just directory that I have on the system. And now let's try and create a folder. You can create your own folder. You can delete folders. You can move folders. We're now on folder management or directory management. And so the command to create a folder is mkdir. mkdir. So I'll do daas. It has created it. And if I do ls, can you see? There is daas there. There is daas there. So I have the daas folder. I can now change and go to the daas. And if I do present working directory, you can see. So I have a folder called daas inside of Kali, inside of home. These are the parts. This is where it goes. I can choose to delete this folder. I can choose to delete this folder. And how do I do that? How I just need to do is rm can anybody tell me why I'm getting this error? So it will be interactive.
Because
you're
inside the directory and there's no.
You're inside the directory, it's open.
Correct.
There's
So
nothing
I'm
named
inside it.
daas
One, I'm
directory.
in the directory. 2 is that there's nothing called daas in this directory. If you query it now, let's query it. There's nothing inside of it. Sorry. There's nothing inside. It's just empty. It's empty. So let's create a folder. Let's call it cloud. We have team cloud, right? The cloud champions.
Yeah.
So let's check. See, we created a folder. Like I told you, always check your first bits. Let me just use that word bits for lack of no words. When you check the first, what you have, the first letter we see, if it is a D, it means it's a directory. And if you check, it's telling you that this D folder or the cloud directory is managed by Kali. The owner is Kali, and the group is also what? Kali. Every time you create a user, a group will also be created for that user. But we're still talking on directory. We have not moved to user. And so I'm trying to combine too many operations together so that we can do very fast. And so now, and so you see, we have the cloud folder that has been created for us. And I want to delete it. So if I do rm cloud, it says a directory. I can't delete it. Okay, let's do this. rm cloud.
It has to be RMDIR.
Okay, RMDIR. You can do RMDIR, you can do, just hold on. So I've deleted it. I want it to be very interactive. We're learning, so it's not reading from textbook. I like being hands-on, practical, you can see it. So now I tried to do RM, but it didn't work. Because there are times when you do, okay, let's recreate it again. Now the arrow I've used there is recursive. It's saying ignore any issue you're having. For instance, it's saying you can't just delete a folder. It's giving me a warning. Anytime you use arrow in your command, you are telling it ignore the warning, do what I've asked you to do. So most times if you do RF is F is forcefully delete it. And I'm going to explain that to us. You see where you apply RF. Now, let's create back our folder, mkdir cloud. Okay, there's no command there. I'm supposed to put something there. So mkdir cloud.
Yes, but I kind of have a question for this.
Yes, let's ask our question. It's very interactive.
No, it's not a question. Actually, it's a contribution. Like in terms
Okay,
of
go
like
ahead.
in Ubuntu, because most of us are using Ubuntu. I think
Yes.
when deleting our folder, I think it's something that we attach sudo to it once we are not on the root directory. So what we do, we use a RMDIR.
You say you should use for Ubuntu use RMDIR.
Yes. To remove our directory.
This option also worked. The RM.
Both will work. So let's practicalize it. That is the beauty of this class. There's no theory there. There's no maybe. You see it yourself if it works. And like I told us, Kali is a Debian variant. So forget that I'm using Kali. I'm not using Ubuntu. They run the same way. They will take the same command. So I have cloud. Let's see if RMDIR will work. It worked. You see, and that is the beauty about Linux. There are options. You can't know everything. Some people already know RMDIR. Some people did not know that there's RMR and -R. There are another. Somebody else might come and use delete and it will work. So there are options for you. Unlike Windows, Emmanuel, you're asking that you want to ask the question or a contribution. Emmanuel, okay, I believe you just.
No, sorry, it was a mistake. The former actually asked, I've already done that before. Sorry, it was a
Not a
mistake.
problem. So we've established now that RMDIR will delete the folder and RM-R will delete the folder also. So far we've been able to see how you can create folders, how you can delete folders. Beautiful. There's nothing difficult in Linux. You can do this thing yourself. Now, let's not forget where we are. At every point in time, you always check. We're still in DAS. We're in the DAS class. We're learning Linux fundamentals. And so I don't have anything on this folder because we've deleted cloud. Now let's create cloud again. Sorry, okay. I don't want to do cloud. Another class we have containers, right? Do you have containers group?
Yes. Can you please clear your screen?
Okay, let me clear my screen, sorry. So I clear the screen. Now let's
please,
create
sir, can we use on Linux, like so on this how do you call this sorry, I don't know this the other one you're using.
I'm using Kali. There's
Kali.
Yeah, Kali is the Debian version. There's Ubuntu.
Yes, but I'm asking if we can use Control L to clear the screen, because most time that's what I use in Ubuntu.
Control what?
Control L to clear your screen.
Yes, you can do that.
All right.
Let me do something now.
Sorry, the command you just used didn't work for me. What option can I use, please?
Control L works. If you do Control L, it will work. If you do CLS, some people CLS work. For some variant CLAR, clear will always work. CLS is something as clear, yeah. So if you try clear, if it doesn't work, try CLS. If it doesn't work, try Control and L together. I just use Control and L together and it worked. This is Control and L, it worked. Yes, there's something called history. History will tell you all the commands that I have run so far on this system. You can see. Before you guys joined the class, I've been using this. I use Kali a lot, like Nurudeen mentioned. So I've done a lot of things. It keeps history of commands that I'm using. Even though you have cleared the system, there is still logs for it. And that is the beauty of Linux. Everything you do on the system has a log. When you log into the system, there's a log for it. Can you see? It's saying that I logged on to this system at 7:23. Forget the time I'm using. I'm not using the West African time zone. I'm using a different time zone. So it has a log. It keeps log of everything you are doing. There's a log for everything that happens on the system. You can see saying there's only one user. It's giving me the average. I'm currently up. And it's telling me for how long I've been up, for 8 hours. So let's play it again. Control L, you are fine. So there are options, and that is the beauty. There is no wrong answer when it comes to Linux. Somebody will say, how can you ever using CLS? You are wrong. No, you can use their options. The option is just too much. The option is just too much. It's how much you can discover and you make use of. And so let your mind be wide open. Don't restrict yourself. Don't limit yourself and say, oh no, this is the only one. Always learn. And so, like today, I've never used Control L. And somebody said, Control L works for me. I always used to CLS or Clear. And so we've created folders. So we're about creating another folder. So I don't want to be used to just cloud. We have all the teams. So containers. We've created containers. And yes, it was created. Now let's go to containers folder. Let's create a file. This time around, I don't want to create a folder. I want to create a file. Okay, I'll create a file and a folder. Let's create a folder. Yeah, what do we create? Somebody should give us a name. Who is the team lead for containers group?
Yeah, you can use Kubernetes.
Okay, I should use Kubernetes. All right. So we have Kubernetes. This is a folder created. So I always like to know where I am. I'm still on containers. And now we should, without even checking, so I'm in the containers folder inside the daas folder or directory. You can either call it the folder or directory, are still correct. Now I want to go out. I'm in daas now. And in daas, I have containers. So somebody said that we should use RMDR to delete. I want to delete containers folder. Don't forget, we have folders inside of containers. Don't forget. We have Kubernetes inside. So I want to delete containers. He said this folder is not empty. You can't delete it.
You can't delete it because it's not empty.
You can't delete because
you need to use RM and recursive to delete because it's not an empty.
Somebody says use RM recursive. Okay.
Yes.
Let's try recursive. For those of us, recursive, forget the deep grammar. It's just how that is telling you to do. It says an invalid option.
You can use -F, -F.
Okay, somebody says we should use
RM. What I mean is RM recursive.
No, we'll do that. We'll do the RM recursive. Let's look at the option of RMDIR first. Let's look at the option of RMDIR. Let's F. Somebody say let's do F. It still didn't work. Okay, now let's do this. When you are using the command and you don't know all the options you have for that command, there is something you can do. There's something called man, your mama. I'm trying to bring in too many things at the same time, but don't worry, you'll be confused. So I'm using RMDIR. I don't know much about it, but I know I'll play with it. I've been able to delete folder. Now I want to delete a folder that is not empty. Let me see the options I have for RMDIR. And these are the options you have. So it's telling you it will define what manual. That's just, you see, that is one thing about Linux that Windows does not have. It tells you every command, what the command is all about, the options, how you can use that command. So for instance, it's telling me that rmdir is to remove empty directories. So you see the reason why rmdir will not work is to remove what? Empty directories. Let's see if there's anything around. If it has, okay, so nothing. So it's empty directories. So you can't delete the directory if it's not empty. So you see the limit of rmdir is limited. So for those of you that are used to, I like my rmdir, you see the limit now. You are limited, but you can't stop there. So let's go to the other guys that said, let's do rm, which I'm used to. There's another command that you are not aware of. Let me tell you, I just applied it here. When you're trying to use a command and you know there is something container, you know there's container. Let's say you don't know the full spelling, but you know it starts with con. Just press tab. When you do tab, it will complete it for you. If you have more than C, it will list everything you have, everything that has to do with con. It will list it for you. So let's do now. Somebody said we should use recursive. Recursive is saying delete subfolders also. If there are folders inside, delete it. Can you see it? It's deleted. So let's see. Do we still have containers? No, we don't have containers. So this afternoon now, I've been able to present to you the difference between rmdir and rm. So if you want to delete empty directories, you just created a directory by mistake. I want to take it out. Use rmdir. But you have folders, you've created content inside of them, they are loaded, they are not empty. Then to clean up that your mess, use rm recursive. The R there means recursive. Now some people use rm rf. The F there means forcefully. There are times that RMR will not work. RM recursive will not work. There are times it won't work. And so you now do force and say, ignore, don't tell me any story. Please just ignore any issue. Delete it. So there are times I tell you, this file you're about to delete is a system file. Don't worry, ignore it and delete. Whether it's a system file or not, shall delete it. So we've seen an option of creating directories, deleting directories, making directories, using directories. Now let's talk about moving directories now. Move directories. I want to move folders. So let's create again mkdir. I want to run very fast. I promise I'll do 45 minutes. So let's create Kubernetes. And let's go into our Kubernetes folder. Okay, let's do this. Let's create another folder. What other folder do we create?
Cloud.
You like cloud a lot, okay. We created cloud. So we have 2 folders now. Let's create 4. Let's create for the whole team, yes? The other 2 teams.
Pipeline ninja.
You say what?
Pipeline.
Pipeline, okay. Let's create pipeline. Is there? So we have 3 folders. The 4th one, let's see who is not represented. The 4th team, they are not online. They are not online today. The 4th team.
King.
Okay. Okay. Okay, people don't want to talk. All right, so we have complete team now. let's see, I want to move it. I want to move it to cloud. Okay, permission, it requires there's something that is called sudo privilege. Sudo privilege means admin privilege. In Linux, we don't say admin privilege, we say sudo privilege. Means you need an admin right. It's not something you can do as a user. So let's do. Yeah. So let's see. Did it move? Yes, it did move. It did move. So let's list Kubernetes and see. Okay, let's go to Kubernetes. Let me see. I want to see. Let's go to Kubernetes and see if anything is there. Where's our Git folder?
Cloud. Yeah, inside cloud.
Was it moved to cloud?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was looking for your Kubernetes. Okay, I want to move one step down. So to move a step down, you do CD, then two dots. To move a step down. So if you do CD, just notice difference. I'm on Kubernetes directory now. If I do CD,
Take you back to the root.
it takes me straight to the home folder, not the root, home folder. You go back to your home directory. And so you can now do CD daas. Daas. Now let's do something. I'm in the home directory, right? Let's do this. Let's do cloud. Okay. Let's go to cloud. Somebody says it's in the cloud. They are not seeing anything in cloud.
Hello,
But
hello,
it
can you hear me?
wasn't.
Yeah,
Hello,
we
can you
see.
hear me?
Yes.
Yes. I think we created that cloud folder inside the Kali home page or home directory. So I think when we wanted to move that Git or something, we now did it into root cloud. Does that are you getting my point?
No, take it again. So we have, let's go back to our home directory.
Yes.
So on the home directory, we have daas.
Yeah.
We created cloud inside of daas.
Yes. So when you wanted to do the move command,
Yes.
move command that you did, you said move Git into /cloud instead of So instead of home/cloud.
So what do you think
Instead
it will
of
be?
that tilde, instead of this tilde
Yeah.
sign.
So what do you think it will be?
So
I think it will be in the root directory.
Yes. So maybe it's now created cloud inside the root folder again. Yeah. Maybe we should list. Yes. See, can you see cloud is now inside root and we didn't create it here.
Yes.
But still, we still can't find our Git.
Wow. Where is it? Git?
Git is
Can
still
we
not
use
there.
the history to see what we did last? Although history will show only the command, right? Okay.
Yes, history will show commands.
So we said move Git to
Git.
cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, that the cloud now is more of like we have said go to the root. This slash cloud is more of like make cloud be
It's
in the
not,
root.
yeah, it's not the same as home/cloud. It's
So
not.
because there's absolute and
There was no
so
absolute path. Yeah.
yeah, there was no absolute part there. It was the reference part, and the reference part was referencing the root folder. Anytime you do a slash, that's the root you are dealing with. Okay, now let's correct that. So if you check, you are in slash cloud. We're not in the we're in the root directory now. So let me just quickly use another stone to kill many birds here. Now you have different directories under the root directory. This is the root directory. That is the root. That is your system. That is the base of the system. You have the var. You have the etc or etc. We will say etc. The etc folder. So the etc folder is the folder that has to do with all your configuration files. If I go to my configuration files, you can see your configuration file, your system file. There's a file that is called daas.wd. That file has all logs. It has logs of all the users on the system. It has logs of all the users on the system. Every user you have on the system, there's a log for them. Like I told you on Linux, you can't hide. Everything you do is being logged. Somebody is watching you. They are seeing what you are doing. And when there is need to query you to bring you out. So you can see now, this is Kali. Kali is a user. It has an ID. And the way it tracks you is by giving you an ID. Once you create a user, there's an ID for it. There's ID 1000. And there's a group called Kali also. And the home directory is Kali/home/Kali. And there's the shell. The shell is user being ZSH. Like I did the Z shell that we're using. It's Z shell that we're using. And also, you have another, if you go back, to the root, you have the boot, your boot files are in the boot directory. There's dev, there's home. Like I told you, every user you create has a home directory. So you put them in the home. If you go to home, for instance, and we list. So for now, it's only Kali we've created. And that's why you can see Kali. And I will use that to move to how we create users. Before I do that, let's sort out moving files from one folder to another folder. So let's go back to our home directory. So on Kali, let's go to daas. Sorry. This is daas. Let's list. So we have cloud.
So where's our Git?
We have cloud. So let's move to pipeline. We're supposed to be home directory slash Kali slash pipeline. So there's daas. There's daas, then pipeline. We want to move it to slash home slash Kali slash cloud. Right. There's daas before cloud. So let's see. So let's go to cloud. So you can see the pipeline has been moved. So the challenge we had the first time is we didn't reference it. It's in the system. There's another command to do that. But because of time, so that the other person can take the other aspects, I believe he will leverage on that, and he can show us that in the next session of this discussion. So let's move to creating users. Like I told us, to create users, all you need to do is to do user ADD. User ADD to create a user, and you tell it, let's create a user called
Ansible.
You say what?
Ansible.
I don't want to use Ansible. Okay, let's create Ansible. I hope I don't have Ansible on this system. Let's see. I think I've installed Ansible on this system.
Can you someone's name?
Let's give it a name. Emmanuel. Emmanuel mentioned Emmanuel was that name. So let's do user add Emmanuel. Now, there are some commands on Linux that are privileged command. You can't use them on another user. One of it is user add. So he's telling me that because in creating a user, it's going to log details of that user on the etc folder. Like I told you, all your system files are on the etc folder. It's going to log it on etc folder /passwd. And so because of it needs a right to write into it. Any other person cannot just go there and alter it. You can't just be altering files anyhow on the system. So he's telling you don't have the privilege. So if I must create a manual user, then I must do sudo. It has created the user for me. So let's see. Let's see if manual was created truly. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. So when you use passwd is changing in password. It's trying to. I would have changed password for Kali now. Anytime you type the command passwd, it means you want to change password for the user. You want to change password for the user. Now, but to check record, I want to see the logs of what happened to the user who created. That is Emmanuel. So you can see Emmanuel has been created. A home folder was created for Emmanuel, and the bash file, the shell for Emmanuel is being sh. That's the shell. And the last user that was created was Kali. It has an ID of 1000. It has an ID of 1000. So the next user that was created is Emmanuel. The ID is 1001. Now, user ID defaults. This means that I want to see the default parameters when I'm creating users. So what you have seen here is that when you're creating user, by default, it will put that user in a group 100. Every user will be on group 100. It will create a home folder for that user, and that's why you see you have /home/Emmanuel. Every user you create on the system must have a home folder, and they must also have a shell. The shell is what? /bin/sh.
Sorry.
I'm with you.
What's the command you use to check manual?
User add -d, capital D.
No, it's the same command you just user add. Yeah, it's the same command you just did now. No, the one that brought up all these lines.
Okay. Okay, if you want to check so this is what I did.
Cat.
The etc folder.
Okay.
This cat is to read, if you want to read content of a file. To read content of a file, that's when you use cat. Catenation. Yes, if I want to read content of a file, I use cat. So let's do that. Let me just explain further. I have 5 minutes more. I've been given time to round up. So let me just create a file for us. So let's create this. Okay, I'll do this now. Echo. What do we echo? Somebody should just say something. Is this class interesting?
Hello world.
I don't like hello world. It makes me feel like you're a beginner. We are not beginners. Is this class interesting? Yes, it's interesting.
Very
I'll name it cloud.txt. So let's see. So there's a cloud file. I've created a file for us. Let's see what is in this file. How do I read what is the content of a file? To read the content of a file, I use cat. And I'll do cloud.txt. So it says, this interesting. So that's what is inside the folder, inside the file rather. So that is something that I've done. You use cat to read the content of a file. So there's a file that is called pass.wd. That file takes login, it takes details of all the users on the system. Every user, system user and all the users they say. We have some users, the system user and user on the system. System user is different from the users on the system. You have system login and user login. System is, there are users that are being used by a program on the system. If you check, for instance, let's go back to it again. So you see there are some users you don't know of. You see Debian, you see what is Debian? A lot of processes are running on this system and they need the user to run that process. For instance, you can see system MD, you see Strong Swan, you see GeoClo, Kingfisher. These are users on the system.
Sorry, please can you scroll up? Like I want to see your screen.
It's a practical class, so I expect you to be doing this on your own system too.
Yes, I was looking at my system when you put in the command. Sorry.
Okay, not a problem.
The best way is to write it down, practice it later.
It's being recorded anyway, but it's good you
Is
are
it
following.
possible you share the record later after the class so we
Yes,
can...
it will be shared.
Okay.
I'm just looking at what I'm doing wrong because I put the same command, but it's not bringing out this.
So where are you? Where are you on the system?
I'm
Do your
directly
PWD.
at this place. Yes.
Where are you? What folder are you on?
For me, it gave me error too, so I ran cat pass.wd directly.
You run cat what?
Pass.wd, removing the etc.
Okay, very likely you have entered into your etc folder directory. If you're in the etc directory, you can't run, so you just run pass.wd.
Yes, that was the same thing that happened here.
Yeah, so if you check, the lady talking, if you check, very likely you are on etc folder. I have to go out. So now, you see, it's giving me this error because there's no etc folder in this DAS. But if I do cd/etc, I will go in directly because it's absolute parts. That part exists. So you can only do cd, you can just do cd without a slash when you have created that folder. When you're in that, when directly that you are currently sitting as that folder. If it doesn't have that folder, then you have to reference it. You have to give absolute part to it. So this is etc. If you do cat, it should work. I don't know why this is not working.
Now it's changing my password. How do I cancel and not change the password?
So just do Ctrl+C, or just don't enter anything. Just press enter. It will cancel it.
Thank you.
Now, what happened is that was the same issue that happened the last time. If you do if you do pass WD, this is a command to change password. It's a command to change password. So be very careful. Don't do, you have to do cat/etc/passwd. Now we created a manual. If you check, I'm running up just 5 minutes to round up. If you check, there are some users that is SBIN no login. SBIN no login means that create that user, the user is not expected to log in. He shouldn't be able to log in. So let's do, for instance, now. This is Kali. I can switch and say, go to Emmanuel. Because I didn't create password for Emmanuel, I don't know what the password to put.
Let me long.
So what we should have done is, when we created Emmanuel, we should have done pass WD Emmanuel. So you're saying I can't. So what is the new password for Emmanuel? Let's put.
Let me long.
Let's do Emmanuel. So see, I've changed password for Emmanuel. I told you pass WD. There are some commands that require admin privilege. So if I do SU means switch user. So I'm switching user to Emmanuel. And it's Emma. You can see. Can you see it? I'm no longer. You can see it.
We can see. We are with you.
I'm no longer Kali. I'm now Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Emmanuel has logged onto this system. And so if I do, I will round up with this. I would have loved to take us on. I think I've done almost everything on my part. I didn't touch. I've done cards. There's another one called VI. So if I do cat SC home, sorry, not cards. I can't use. You can't use it for. I'm telling. They've told me to round up. I will round up.
There's a question I wanted to ask.
So I'm
when you were like
rounding up with this one here. Okay, Emmanuel does not. Let me go out of Emmanuel. So you log out.
Exit.
So I've gone out of Emmanuel.
Sorry, when you were running that echo, you're trying to like write a script. A file. So a content inside a file. I saw you run echo, blah blah blah, and you now at the end of it you now put the file name. Was it cloud.txt?
Yeah. So I'm stopping here.
It's bad.
So that Nurudeen can continue the class. So I'll just, when you do echo is to have put command to the screen. If I didn't direct it here, you can see it's meant to have put it to the screen.
Yes.
It's meant to have put that command to the screen. So
I thought
what I did with that is that I redirected it. There's something called pipe and redirectory. So I just said, instead of putting it to the screen, I don't want it to put on the screen. Just do this. Do cloud.txt. Yeah, so I've told it this command, save it into this file called cloud.txt. If I use two arrows like this, what I'm saying is that if there's any content in this file, add this thing to it also. So I'm saying don't remove the content. However, append this into it. But if I use one arrow, what I'm telling you is that whatever content you have there, wipe it out. You use this one word to replace it.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes, because I've been giving signal to stop my own session. So I believe I was able to cover as much as I could cover for us.
Nice one.
And
Thank you.
We'll continue from Emmanuel.
okay, so I'm giving the mic over to Nurudeen to continue the session. He has some other sessions he's going to take us on. Nurudeen, you can take over the class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Hello, Nurudeen. Hello, Nurudeen. Sorry, just a minute.
Sorry, I was moving. Hello? Hello?
Can I hear you, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, hi everyone. Just a minute. Please let me know if you cannot hear me. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can hear now.
Okay, great. Hi everyone. Just a minute, I need to confirm if this server is still on. Just a minute. Okay. I'm trying to confirm because I remember I bootstrapped a server for you people yesterday. Just a minute. Okay, instance run. That's okay. We are good. We are good. This is the IP address. Okay. So hi everyone. Good afternoon. I'm just going to pick it up from where Oluwaseun has stopped, and I'm actually going to talk on this guideline that I've been instructed to work on. I'm going to take you on a bit of file manipulation. I'm going to tell you about file permissions. I'm going to tell you about compressions of files and so on. I'm also going to tell you a bit of sysadmin works, which has to do with, system monitoring, getting to know the processes that are running on your system, getting to, be able to do some network troubleshooting, be able to back up your system, and as well, just hint you on shell scripting. I have been given 15 minutes to do this. I don't know how I want to do it. I don't know. But I'm going to try my best, and I would like if you are very interactive with me, just the way you have been with Oluwaseun. And I'm going to also try to be straightforward and not repeat too much of what he has said. And I think he has taken you guys on on file creation, on directories, a lot of
Which
things about one or
is
two things.
navigating from one directory to another.
Yeah, I know, no problem. And one thing is that in Linux, everything is a file. The process you are running is a file. Your services is a file. A user is a file. The password is a file. Everything in Linux is a file. So if you want to become a good Linux administrator, you need to always understand how to manipulate a file, how to work with a file. That is number one thing that, you need to take very, very important. Now, I think even though I didn't prepare for this, like I think Oluwaseun mentioned something, or even if we didn't talk about it. In Linux, we have what we call file system.
And what do I mean by a file system? A file system is basically the hierarchy of the files in your computer. If you go to a Linux server, for example, now, this is a Linux server. And if you go to CD, what do you call it, dot, for example, this particular location where you have CD dot, if you run pwd, for example, which is present working directory, this location is your root file system. And within this root file system, you also have other file system, which is basically what we call the what? The file hierarchy in the Linux environment. What did I call it? File hierarchy. Hierarchy, God bless you. Now, this file hierarchy that we have here now, if I run ls, you will see, let me just run, okay, let me make it very simple for you. Sorry, I use, I use clear, I don't like this. If you look at this now, you will see a lot of files, a lot of folders, I'll put it. One thing in Linux is that how do you distinguish between a file and a folder? Most of the time, or sorry, I don't want to call it folder, directory. Most of the time, directories are usually represented in colors. That is the blue color. That's easy way to know directory. And if you look at this file hierarchy, we have directories and we have what we call the bin directory, we have the we have the dev, we have the etcd, and so on like that. And I'm just going to basically put it through to you. You can see when Oluwaseun was talking to you, he said there's a user that is called bin, there's someone, you create some user, you call them some xbin and so on like that. You put them xbin directory. Anything that has to do with, starting with /bin, /sbin are what we call what? The binary directory. What did I call it? The binary
directory.
Now, when it comes to configuration, when you see anything that has to do with, /etc, what do I call it? /etc. Yes, if you see anything that has to do with /etc, let me move the cd, etc. In this location, what you have here is configuration files. If you like, install Apache on your system, install MySQL, install anything you want, its configuration file will always be in what? /etc. And you can see a lot of configuration files, as you can see, even cloud configurations file, you can see network protocols, you can see user profiles, you can see a lot of this. This is what we call configuration file. Now, also we have /boot. /boot as well, what you have there are configuration directories. Now, what about the file that me and you are going to use? Where are these files stored? These files are what we call the data directories. That is where they store my file and your file. And that is where we hear /home. When you start hearing /home, /root, this is where they store our files. This is where any files that we are going to use, this is where we store it. Now, another interesting thing about it is that there are also some, some places where they store logs and so on like that. Logs. When you hear /var, /log, they are what? What you see there is just what? Just logs, just large data, unnecessary data. So if I go on, for example, now if I go to cd /var /log, you can see now these are a lot of logs that you want to see now. So let me say I want to pick one of them, for example. I want to say I want to see Amazon log, for example, now. And I say, okay, sorry, I need to use the sudo command. That's another important thing, is that I need to use the sudo command because I'm already in the root directory because I'm in edit. So if you see this place now, sudo cd, what is this? Sudo cd permission denied. I'm coming.
I think you can't use sudo with the cd.
I don't think he's running the Amazon. He's doing something on the Amazon.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as well. Just a minute. Okay, I'm just a minute. Yes. Logs, Abby. Permission denied. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Nurudeen, sorry, if you check that Amazon folder, if you see the privileges, permissions, there's no read write, so you can't access it.
Yes.
Did you see it? Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So you can see, thank you, that Oluwaseun. Okay, I'm going to talk about it. Thank you, thank you. So if you look at this now, which is also the second thing I'm actually going to, is that I'm going to talk about permissions. This, I do not have a permission. I'm going to explain everything here. I'm going to explain it to you. Thank you for saying that. But nonetheless, let me continue with the what's it called. Let me go to see the what's it called, this for you directory. Thank you, Oluwaseun. So as I was saying, these locations are the different, places where you can have, this is the file hierarchy system that we have in a Linux environment. So your ability for you to be able to understand what is this, what is that, will make it easy for you to be able to navigate on this system. You get it? Now, that is one thing. Now, another thing is that I'm going to take this very simple and I'm going to go in different stages because what I've been told to come and do here is to come and play with files. I'm not going to teach you how to play with files. You're going to teach yourself, but I will just make sure that I guide you. You will see that in this place, I have 6 stages. You know that penguin up? That penguin is a Linux penguin. Anybody knows the name of that penguin? That is Tux. Tux is a Linux penguin. And if you look at my diagram, you will see that the penguin was moving from, should I say monochrome to having multicolor. That is basically what I want to move you through. I want you to play with files from creating a file to, to be able to read a file, to be able to filter content in the file, to be able to secure a file, and be able to also compress a file. Your ability to be able to do any of these things will increase your level of proficiency as a Linux admin. Now, let us start with the first one, creating a file. Please, can you mute yourself? If you want to talk, please let me know. Thank you. Okay. When it comes to creating a file, there are many commands that you can use to create a file. We have cat, we have touch, we have redirections, we have echo, we have printf, we have vim, we have nano. These are a lot of files. Now, what do I mean? Let us go. Let me go to my home directory. This is tilde wd. Okay. I'm an Ubuntu user. I'm using Ubuntu just like you are doing. And now I am in this place now. I want to work with a file. Now, let's say, for example, I want to create an empty file. How do I create an empty file? A simple way to create an empty file is just to what? It's just to touch. So my name is what? Nurudeen. So I'm just going to touch Nurudeen. This is an empty file. I am not going to read the file for you. I have just created a file. So if you run ls, this is Nurudeen. Now, what if I want to use other ways to create this file? Many people know about cat command. I know a lot of you know about cat command, but most of the time we use cat to read a file. So if I run cat Nurudeen, for example, it will give me an empty result because there is nothing in that Nurudeen, correct? Now, I want to go a step further. I want to not just use cat to create my file. I want to use, to read my file. I want to use cat to what? To create the file. How do I do it? It's very simple. You can run cat, redirect it, and say new Nurudeen, for example, because I'm creating a new file. I'm still going to go back to the file I work on. New Nurudeen. This is the new file I want to run. The moment you run this, cat will give you a a terminal for you to put anything you want to save. Let's say, hey, welcome to daas 2023. This is a simple file. All I need to just press is enter, then Control D. Sorry, enter, Control D. If I cut new Nurudeen now, I should be able to see the output. In this way, I have created a file what? New Nurudeen using cat command. Am I communicating?
Yes.
Use touch to create a command. I have used cat to create a file.
Command.
right? So to create a file.
A file.
Now, another thing people also do use to create
Nano.
a file is, Oga, are you going to come and teach? Please, my class is very serious, so please, if you want to say anything, let me know, please. If you have questions, say I have a question. I will let you answer. I will let you ask your question. Okay. Now, another important thing that people do use to create file is using editors. And what do I mean by editors? In Linux, we have a lot of editors. We have Vim, or some people call it VI, it's just the same thing. VI is just a pointer to Vim. We have Nano, which people also use to create files. We have what's it called? We have Emacs, which is also an editor that people use to create files. There are different editors. Now, the most common one is Vim and Nano. People find Nano easy to use because it is interactive. You can see the what's it called? If I run Nano, for example, maybe I want to create a file now. What's the name of the person that was talking? Please, what's your name?
Emmanuel.
Manuel. I know you are going to be my friend. Well, I was asking question in the first day, right?
Yes.
I know you are going to be my friend. So look at this now. This is Nano, right? You can see I can do anything on the terminal. It gives me an an idea of the commands I can run. If you look at the lower shell, the lower part of the shell, you can see Control G, Control O, Control W, Control R, Control X. This gives me an idea of the commands I can run. That's why people find it easy to use Nano, because it makes it easy. So for example, I have created this file now. I've written just gibberish on the screen, and I want to save this file. All I just need to write is what? Write out. This is Control O. So Control capital letter O is telling me, do you want to write this file to Emmanuel? I said yes, enter. Then I want to exit Control capital letter X. So if I want to cut Emmanuel now, sorry, capital letter. If I want to cut Emmanuel now, I will see the gibberish I've written. Are you getting it? This is another way of creating a file. So remember, I have created what? I have created 3 files: new Nurudeen, Emmanuel, and also what? Nurudeen. What about VI editors? That is Vim. Vim, I love Vim. I can tell you, I love Vim. And I find it very easy to use Vim. And at the same time, it's also one of the top tools that, DevOps engineer use there, Vim and Emacs. If you can use Vim, it's very fine. There are certification exams on Vim as well. If you want to know how to use a Vim, I'm going to talk about that later. Now, VI editor. How do you use it? To use Vim, remember I created a file, touch Nurudeen, which is an empty file. Remember, I'm not touching that file. I just leave it. Now, I want to create a new file now. Let me say I want to create, let me say VI pipeline, for example, maybe pipeline.yaml or .txt, for example. I'm going to create this file. This is Vim editor. In my Vim editor, there is no guess. There are no options for you. You need to know. If I type anything on my screen now, sorry, I type I was not supposed to do that anyways. Okay. If I type anything on my screen using VI, I'm typing right now. You can see it's not going to work. But until the moment I type I, it gives me that what? It just puts me in an insert mode. Do you see? So with insert mode, I can do anything. I can type. I can do anything I want to do. And what? If I want to save, how do I want to save? First of all, you need to leave your insert mode. And to leave your insert mode, you press Ctrl+C. You see, I'm no more in my insert mode. Now I want to save my file. How do I save my file? Because if I press Ctrl+C, I am still in that environment. I'm locked in that environment. I cannot exit out of the environment. How do I do that? Then you need to put a column. Can you see column here? Then you write column WQ bang. Column means you want to enter a command, W write, Q exit bang. Enter. So if I cut pipeline.txt, I am able to see the gibberish I've written. I have used many tools to create a file for you. I have used VI, I have used Echo, I have used Nano, I have used a lot of things. Now, what about redirections? How do you create a file using redirections and Echo? If you want to create a file, if you're very observant, you will see that I use a redirection in this place. Now, just a little, what's it called? Diversion. In Linux, we have, these are tips, extra tips. I am going to ask you during your presentation. So if you are coming to present to me, listen to what I'm saying. In Linux, we have different types of redirection. We have standard input, we have standard output, we have standard error. We can also append. Right now, I want to redirect whatever I type in my echo command into a file called any name I want to give it. This time, let me say it's in cloud, for example. Let me say echo. This is sim cloud. Are you there? If I say echo, this is the entire, if you just give me the response back, this is not saved to any file, right? But now I want to redirect this to a file called cloud.txt. The moment I put it there, it is in that file. If I cut cloud.txt now, I can be able to read the content of that file. This is just using what? Redirections. Are you with me? So, Emmanuel, okay, you want to talk? I'm with you.
Okay, sir. For instance, now when you don't have the cloud.txt, not like you have not created at all, can you still run this command and still get can you still store this content inside this file?
Yes.
Without creating the
yes,
file?
because you see that in my this thing, I've never talked about cloud.txt before. Did I create any file from cloud.txt? Look at my history.
No.
So
No.
did it exist before? No. Now, a question that you should have asked is this. What if cloud.txt exists and I want to add other things into cloud.txt? I want to add other information into that. Then I can append into the file. What do I mean by append? Let me say, look at this. Echo. This is not for sim pipeline. Right? I want to append this into that file cloud.txt. You see the arrow, double arrow, appending. It will go. By the time I cut cloud.txt, I will see two files, two informations there. This is sim cloud. This is not for what? Sim pipeline. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Now, what if I do not use the double arrow and I run the same command, not using double arrow? In that case, it is going to override the content of the file.
Sorry, Nurudeen. I've
Yes.
been raising my hand, but you didn't say, please, when you were doing the cats NW underscore, I did it for myself, but it did not respond as it did on your own screen. So I don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. It did not bring any option
Let
out.
us do it again together.
Okay.
Let us do it again together. You want to create a file using cat command, right?
Yes.
Now, let's go again. Cat. Have you typed cat?
Yes, I'm typing with you. Cats.
Arrow sign greater than. What's your name, please?
Ada.
Ada.txt. Right?
Okay.
Press enter.
Yes.
Now, this is Ada asking a question. Did you see that?
Yes.
Good. Press enter again. Did you see that? Press Control D.
Control D.
Now,
what's Control D for? To bring yourself back?
Exit out of that environment. Yeah.
Okay, yes. Okay, that is exactly where I got a mistake. So when you wrote, hey, welcome to DAS 2013, I could not come out of it. So that's the command. Yes, I now use Control C to cancel.
Exactly. So you don't cause the problem. I said Control D.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So can you see your file now?
Yes.
God bless you. Now, back to the illustration I was given. Imagine if I do not use this append. We are playing with files now. We already end up playing with files. Imagine if I did not use this append and I write a new thing in this file. Without, you know, this file already exists now, ls. You can see cloud.txt in that place, right? Now, let me say team container want to take over now. They want to just take over everybody. You are not using the append command. What is going to happen? What's going to happen is that you are not going to find the content, these two contents, you are not going to find it in that file anymore. What do I mean? Look at it. Echo. Container kings taking over, right? Now they are taking over Team Cloud. The moment I run this, boom, and I cut Team Cloud again, you will never see anything again. So as a Linux engineer, please take note of when you want to append and you want to override the content of a file. Good. So that is all about creating a file. Let's continue. First assignment, I want you people to go and tell me, I'm going to ask you, learn how to use printf to create a file. Assignment number 1. Now, let us continue playing with a file now. Stage 2. We have created file, right? Let's go to stage 2. Clear. ls. This is what I have, right? On my screen. We want to play with files using RM, CP, a lot of you are saying, a lot of just looking at you, I was there. Now, we want to play with this file. I remember that Oluwaseun taught you how to make a directory. And what command did you call it? Anybody?
mkdir.
mkdir. Directory, right?
Yes.
Let me follow his pattern. Das. Abi?
Yes.
If you run ls, what do you have? You have Das, Emmanuel, and everybody, right? Hello, look at me. Are you good there?
Yes, yes.
Good. Now, how do you understand that that is a directory? What if your terminal is not the kind of terminal that gives you a color? How do you know that that is a directory and not a file?
You
have to do a long listing.
You have to do a long listing. I don't want to do a
long listing.
Tell me the answer. I don't want to use a
ls minus l.
I don't want to do
use
that's long listing. Give me another option.
LL.
No, I don't want to use L. You have to use L. All those L is L in it. I don't want to leave it. Give me another thing.
ls-a.
ls minus a.
This is the command on my screen.
Okay.
Yes.
What did they give you? That is what is a directory. So, number one thing that you are learning again, you use the command file to know the kind of file that you have. That will now take me to another thing. We have three types of file in a Linux environment. We have a regular file, we have a directory, and we have the system files, which are most likely what? Symbolic files. Are you with me? What did I say? We have three types of file. Regular file, which is just the regular files that we are creating. Symbolic files and directory. Because symbolic files sometimes, most times, what do you call it? Most times, system files. Now, we have used F to a file to find a file. What if I want to get other things? Do you think it will give me it's a file? No, it's not going to give me. Look at this. Let us do something. File Emmanuel. What did you tell me? You say Emmanuel is a what? ASCII text, right? Because of what is stored in it. So that's an extra tip. Come back here. RM, CP, MV. Everybody says RM is what? Remove. Abi? Hello?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Remove, Abi? CP.
Yes. Copy.
Copy. Abi?
Yes.
MV.
Move.
Move, Abi?
Yes.
Or rename.
Good. If I run RM-R, what does it mean?
Remove still.
Because
remove what?
To remove because it repeated. Yeah, to repeat the command remove.
They are coming up and down, up and down, up and down. If I run rm/r, what is it? I told you I'm not teaching you, I'm teaching yourself Linux.
Yeah, to remove recursively.
Okay, if I put rm-f, what does that mean?
Forcefully remove recursively.
Fully remove recursively, Abby.
No, remove it recursively, but for the F means that you should, no matter the content in that directory.
Okay, what if I add v to it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Now then you go tell us.
What if I have d to it?
We are lost, sir.
Maybe remove any file that starts with the letter, following letters. I don't know. I'm just
Okay, let us leave RM. Let us go to copy. Abby?
Yes.
Abby? C is copy now. Abby, is it not copy?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, copy.
Eh?
Yes,
If I
copy.
use
Yes, that's
capital letter R
copy.
to it, what does it mean?
Yes.
It's still recursive.
It's still recursive. What if I
Yes.
use S, small letter S alongside? All you are doing is just wasting your time. You don't do Linux. Why? Because you are thinking. You don't need to think. You don't need to.
You can man it.
You don't need to put everything in your brain. If you people were smart, Shane was giving you what? Man. Do you see man?
It's manual.
I teach people how to fish. I don't give you fish. If you run man RM, what does it give you? It gives you every command options that you can use with RM. So as a Linux administrator, let man be your friend. What did I say?
Let man be your friend.
Let man be your what? Let man be your friend. If you don't know any command, man it. What did I say? Man the command. In man as well, you need to also know how to interact with the environment, because if you run man in your system, you cannot scroll up and scroll down. This is not Linux, and this is not Windows system. If you want to go to another page on your man, press your space bar. I went to another page. Did you see?
Yes.
If you want to go to the beginning, press small letter G 2 times to take you to the beginning. Are you there?
Yes.
If you want to exit, press small letter Q. You will exit the environment. Do you see what I am showing you?
Yes.
So if you man CP as well, what does it give you? The same thing, right? Now, there are some people don't know how to, they still find it very difficult. If you don't know that, come here. There is a website that is called Explain Shell. I use Explain Shell a lot. Explain Shell is just like they are copying man on the internet, putting it here. Sorry, from the manual, putting it here. So if you run cp-r, Explain Shell will make it very, very easy for you to understand the command. What did it tell you? Copy file and directory, capital letter R, small letter R, copy directory recursively. Do you see that? Are you with me? You people should not sleep now.
Yes.
Huh? Thank you. So I have given you a tip. So don't come here tomorrow. Don't tell me you don't know how to use a command. You have what? You have man. So know how to use what? Man. And can you see what is here? What is here? Source page. Man, if you click on this source page, it's basically give you those things that you have seen in my terminal. This is the same thing we have here. Let us come back. Let us go back. Now, MV is to move a file, right?
Yes.
Some people also use MV to also what?
Rename a file.
To rename a file. Abby? Now,
yes.
So if you want to rename MV, what is that in cloud-text.txt now? You know, we don't have cloud text, we have containers there, right, Abby? You want to change it to containers.txt, we just use MV, right?
Yes.
If you run ls, you have container. Am I too fast for you guys?
No.
You are too fast.
Okay, sorry, Mama. Sorry.
Do we have access to the recording later?
Yes. Don't worry.
Yes, you have access, but I always advise pay attention, take as much as you can take in the class. So when you go back to review it, it becomes clearer. Don't just put it in your mind that I'll go back to the record, then just no bother.
Yes.
Grab as much as you can grab. So when you go back to the recording, it becomes clearer. And like you mentioned to you, the options are just numerous. So don't always wait. You can Google it, just give you one site now, explain shell. There are a lot of options you have. Man is also one of it. You can stay with one of the commands I learned on Linux. I learned it playing with it on my own. I play with it, and that's the reason why I'm giving you virtual box. You can scatter it, delete system file, crash your system, and bring it back up again. You get even on those practicing labs, on those setting up line Ubuntu, you can spend hours on it. And that's the beauty of it. So don't wait just for class alone. You can also interact. And the reason we've created Discord channel, interact with your team members. Interact. If you have questions that are not clear, you can also talk to the founders. You can continue, sir.
Thank you, boss. So, are you with me?
Yes.
I will try and be slow, don't worry. They gave me 15 minutes. I don't know how I want to use. Maybe you beg them. I don't know what you people will do. Let's continue. Okay. I have just, renamed the file using MV, right?
Yes.
Can another person tell me how to rename a file again? I started using MV. I don't want to use MV. There is a
You can use
command called
rename.
rename. God bless you, my
Rename.
name. Rename. Now, how do you use rename to rename a file? It's a very simple command to use. And sorry, it's advanced, not simple. I will not lie to you. It's advanced. But it is good for people that want to rename a file, that knows how to use Linux very well. If you want to rename a file, all you need to put is this. Follow this syntax, rename /xm -m, sorry, what's this thing, Steph? Is it apostrophe? Is that apostrophe, please?
Yes.
Good. Slash. Abi, give me the old name of the file. Are you there? Slash the new name of the file. Close it, apostrophe, then the particular file that you want to change. This is the syntax. If I give me an error, I know there's nothing there. It's not changing anything. Are you there? Now, let us try to use this syntax to change that file, Nurudeen, name, new Nurudeen. Let us use it. Some of you may run rename on your system and it will not be there. Rename is not usually installed by default on Ubuntu. So you need to update your Ubuntu by running sudo apt install rename. It will install the rename package on your system, and that's on your Ubuntu environment. So you may be running that command, it may be failing. You need to install this. Now let us try and use rename to rename one of the files. Let us rename, let me rename, which file should I rename now? Nurudeen Abi. Nurudeen. I want to rename Nurudeen Abi. Nurudeen to, what should I say my surname? And Kamilu. Still the same person. Right? Do this. And the file I want to rename is what? Nurudeen. LS. What do you see there? Do you see my name? Kamilu. It's there, right? It has been renamed. If as an advanced Linux engineer, you can use rename to also do some other patterns. Let me say everything that I have in this environment, I want to change all those .txt file to .pdf. How do I use it? That is where rename comes in, and MV will not help you with it. So you need to learn how to use rename. So rename S, the same pattern, but this time, since we are using .txt, we need to add this so that you'll be able to identify, to be able to identify that we want to work with .txt file. See, .txt, we are telling that any file that ends with .txt, that $sign means ends with .txt. Now, change that file to what? To .pdf. Are you with me? Close it. Then, what file are we looking for? Any file that ends with .txt. LS. What do you see there now? It has been turned to what? .pdf. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I touched a file before, Kamilu, right? Remember this file now? Kamilu, this file. Sorry for using this file. Remember now? Are you there, guys? Don't sleep. I touched that file, Kamilu. They said we should play with a file. I'm following the channel they gave me to follow. You are playing with files. Kamilu is a file that I touched before, right? Now, imagine if there are many Kamilus in this environment, and I want to use touch command to create the other Kamilus. How can I do it? Any idea? Anybody? Okay.
Again, your question.
I want to create.
What's the question?
There are many Kamilus in this environment now, for example, and I want to create Kamilu_1, Kamilu_2, for example. Sorry, _2, Kamilu_3, Kamilu_4, like that. How do I do it? Any idea? Okay. What if I run this command? Control-C, sorry. What if I run this command? Touch. Are you there?
Kamilu_P.
_. Is anybody saying anything there? You can talk. Oh. Maybe I want to 1 to 5. This should create everything for me that is Kamilu from 1 to 5. Did you see it there?
Yes.
Yeah, automation, small. But if you don't know, we are moving into automation. So I have used some basic commands that you need to play with a file. Which one is missing? Okay, find. Good. Now, what do we use find for? From the word find, we use it to find a file in the Linux environment. That is just what you use find for. So, okay, extra distraction. If you want to know the user that you are in the Linux environment, always run this command. Who am I? It gives you your own user. That's another extra diversion. Now let us go back. Linux is not something that you can learn finish in one day, but I'll just keep on bringing it as I remember one or two things. Okay, now back to using find. We want to use find to be able to, okay, another thing again. Sorry. When you people were doing file listing and another thing like that, right? You were running ls, right? We were running ls. Some people were saying ls-l. Some people were saying ll. Abi? Everybody was just saying l. Now, what if, let me say I want to cd, I want to go into daas, for example. I want to just, touch 2 files, for example. Let me say cloud, containers, pipeline. What's the last this thing?
Please clear your screen.
Eh?
Git.
Please clear your screen so that we can see.
Okay.
It's king, not git.
I saw Git too.
Yes, it's git.
It's just a name. Don't worry. It's just a name. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Created purifiers, cloud, container, git, and pipeline, right?
Yes.
Now let's go back to my home directory. Imagine if I want to see every information in that file from the beginning to the end. That is, this is ls. This is just show me this, Abi. I want to see the other things in those files. How can I do it? Anybody?
You list, you press ls, followed by cloud.
That means I'm missing it. That's not the command.
ls dash.
Don't tell me you don't know. Use man. Did you see? Recursive. Did you see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he show you everything?
Yeah.
Did he show you everything?
Yes.
Good. What if I don't want it to also come out like this?
Use man.
God bless you. I like that. Look at this command, tree. This is a better way if you want a structured view of your files in your environment. What is the command?
Tree.
I'm just still playing with Linux. Let us go back to find. Now, imagine I want to find this file, pipeline. I want to find it from my root directory. Don't forget I'm in the root, my home directory, which is home/Ubuntu. I want to find that file. How do you find that file? The syntax is this: find, specify the location where you want to find the file. There are two things in Linux. Oh my God, I need to explain this again. Okay. There is what we call dots. There's what we call dot. There's what we call tilde in Linux. If you say dots, dot means your present working directory. What did I say? My present working directory. And present working directory is now what? Is home/Ubuntu. Correct, right?
Yes.
Now, if you say dots, it means what? Your what? Your parent directory. Are you there?
Yes.
So my parent directory in this case will be what? Will be home now.
Home.
It will be
And
home.
now, that's my parent directory now. If you say tilde, it means your what? Your home directory, which is going to be what? Home/Ubuntu. So maybe you are anywhere in the Linux environment. Remember when I went to those cloud dash to go and create what's it called, the pipeline, and I want to go back to my home directory. I just run what? CD tilde. Remember, right? So
Yes.
that is the way you move to your home directory. Now, back to where I was. If you want to find a file in Linux, you need just to run the find command, simple syntax. Where do you want to find the file? I want to find it in my present directory. That is, you are specifying the location that you want to find it. Then what is the name of the file you want to run for? Find name pipeline. Did it show me the location? It did not show me.
It did.
It showed me the location. So it's a simple command to what? To find a directory. I'm sorry, to find a file in Linux environment. What are the other ways you can also use find command? Remember, I have created a lot of naughty files in this environment. What if I want to find all files that are all files or directories that are empty? How do I do it? Use your man as well and run find location where you are finding the file, right? Then put the word what? Empty. Did it give you all the files that are empty? Yes, it did.
Yes.
And why are we not seeing other.txt? Why are we not seeing container.txt? Why are we not saying new Nurudeen? It is because what? These files have what? Information in them already. Are you there?
Yes.
Hello? Good. So these are different things. You can also use a find command to execute. You can also find a what's called it? Find a file and execute anything you want to execute. Maybe you want to delete the file, for example. You can also do that. Let's say, for example, you want to find Kamilu and delete Kamilu. Does Kamilu have something? I don't even know. Let me just say we want to delete the guy here. Now, find in this location, right? The name is what? Kamilu. You should tell me, you should tell me where Kamilu is, Abi, right? Now I want to execute the command after finding that file. Exec. What's the command I want to? Maybe I want to delete the file. Let me say rm-i. What will rm-i give me? Oh yeah, man. What will rm-i give me? People should answer me now.
It will prompt you.
Should give me interactive.
Yeah, interactive prompt.
So now I want to delete that file, Kamilu, but I want you to make it interactive. So this is the way you can also what? Can also do that. This is just my find command that I've run from the beginning before. Now I'm adding some executions for it to delete that file, Kamilu. You said what? Remove a regular empty file, Kamilu, right? Yes. Why? It is gone. If you run ls, do you still see Kamilu? No. So you can even use this to even find content in a file. You can use it to grep what is in a file and so on and so forth. So the more you practice a lot of scenarios, the more you get to know some things about it. So now, I think
a question.
Okay, go on, sir.
Have you cleared it? Oh, okay. I wanted to ask a question. In that, can you explain the curly brackets? What do we have it there? And
Yeah, the
then
curly bracket is just a syntax because you are executing what was it called? This last thing, anytime you're executing something with find, you have to have this last three.
Okay.
So that's feature. Can I continue? Okay, good.
Yes, go ahead.
Now we are going to stage 3. Let us read the content in the file. This one should not take us much time. Head, tail, more, less, cat, tack. Now, let me read one of my files. For example, if I want to read Kamilu, we already read Kamilu, ada.txt or .pdf. You already know cat will give me what? Ada, right? Now, let us create a new file, for example. Let us create a file called numbers. Numbers. Are you there? One.
Yes.
So insert mode, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Control C, right? Sorry. I need to give you an extra tip again on Vim. I'll go back and give you, don't worry. WQ bank, right? Now, if I cut number.txt, numbers, right? It gives you all the number, right? What if I want to use add command with this? Add basically will give me the first 10 lines in the file. What did I say?
First 10 lines.
The first 10 line.
The file. If I use tail will give me the what? The last 10 lines.
The last 10 lines.
If you use man, you can now get to see other ways in which you can what? You can use add or any of them. Let me say, for example, now I want to see add will give me first 10, right? Maybe I want to see first 15. If I run add-n 15, numbers.txt will give me first 15 lines. Man is your friend, though. The same response you will get if you run tail -15. This time I did not put -n, it will give me the same result. I know. You can see last 15 lines. So the more you practice, the more you know. There is also a command called more, or let me say called less. For example, more is more like okay, let us find any which this thing can I play with? Oh, let me go to that var again. cd slash var slash log. Okay. ls now. I'm looking for a file I can play with. Okay, let me play with that Ubuntu. This Ubuntu advantage timer. You see this file? Now, if I say cat Ubuntu advantage timer, are you there? Hello, they say I've used 15 minutes. So okay.
Yes, we're here.
Yeah, but they said our time is up. Okay, just a minute. I will just try and fast forward. No problem. Okay, if I say cat Ubuntu /log, this thing has a lot of logs. Give me another thing, Jerry. I want something that has a lot of logs. Let me use ls-l to know what you call it. Files that are empty or what you call it. I'm coming. Okay, which one has a lot of logs? I'm out of all of them. I think it's this cloud init log. No, this
Cloud
init.
init.
6 logs. 6 logs. 6 log has a lot of things. Actually, Levi. I'm coming. Just tell me. I don't know what it's very for. Okay, so I don't know why my screen is like. Let me just try and see if I can move it to the other side. Okay, good. So let us say we want to count what is a syslog. Are you there? See that there are a lot of files, right? We have to scroll up and scroll down. Can you see?
Yes.
That's a disadvantage for cats. What did I say? It's a disadvantage.
Of cat.
What cat does for you is that it gives you an output in such a way that you have to be able to scroll up and down. That's a disadvantage. But if you use a command called more, let me clear my screen. More syslog. What does more do for you? More brings out the output as a single page. And you can now scroll from one page to another. What did it tell you now? It tells you that what? I am showing you just 2%. You see? 2% of the total content in that file. So if you press spacebar, it tells you that I have shown you 6% now. It brings everything as what? A single page. 9%, 13%. You see, it's bringing it out as a single page. That is an advantage of more.
Okay, sir. I have a question, sir.
Okay, sir. No problem. Go on, sir.
For example, now, like, let me use the SSH when you want to copy either your public key or your private key now. And like you can do a cut, you cut the public key out. The cut will bring out everything, but more won't bring out everything for you to be able to copy. So how can you solve that? Or how can you do that?
No, you're not getting what I am teaching you. The more will give you everything just to read a file. More is to read a file. So it will give you anything you want it to read. And the SSH should not be too much for you not to be able to read on a single page. You use more and less when you are dealing with large files that is more than a page.
Okay.
That's what I am teaching you. Okay? Good. So more and less will give you what? Those information per page. Now, let me exit Q. Let me say I want to use less for this guy now. Less syslog. Syslog, less we also bring it out like more, but this time make it more interactive. With less, I can be also able to find informations in the file. Maybe I want to find everywhere we have this mounted, mounting, not mounted. I can just run / you can see, mounted. You see, it's giving me every place where I have what? Mounted. Can you see? So it has highlighted those places where I have what? Mounted. So any other place? No, we are good. Am I making sense? So less is also like more, but a bit interactive. Good. That set is part. That part is settled. What are that thing? I need to work my time. I don't know what this guy is. It's a mail. Okay. Sorry. Apologies for that. Okay. So now let us go to how to filter files. Okay, I love to talk about tag. I need to talk about tag. Okay, let us go to our home directory. LS. Remember I created a file called number.txt. If I want to read this number in reverse reverse direction, all I have to write what is tag numbers.txt. You read it upside down, reverted. So just like, cat in reverse order. That's just it. Now, there's some other things that we can also use to filter a file. Like you can see in that, in that, this thing. You see grep, search, TWC, sort, unique. Let us quickly treat that. It's like I'm going to stop here today, just this page, and we are done for today. But I'll give you some extra tip that you need to use. Okay, I'm sorry. When it comes to filtering for information in a file, when you want to filter for information in a file, a common command people use
Working on that.
So let's say we want to cut this environment, this file now. Let's say we want to cut I think we created a file containers, right? Which file has more than one line? Okay, let me just add some things to that container. Okay, so we want to add more information to this container now. That's what we want to do now. So let's add. This is one of the most important tools used in Docker. What do you call it? In Docker. Docker and Kubernetes are friends. So learn to play with containers. Control C, WQ bank. Now, if I cut containers now, can you see my screen? Now, imagine I want to grep for the word container. Now, I want to search for word container inside that file. All I have to do is just what? Is just to run the grep command. Grep, give me what you want to grep, for example. Maybe you want to grep, what's it called? You want to grep, maybe you want to grep Docker, for example, or maybe you want to grep container, for example. Now, just type containers. Sorry, I think you have to put it in quotes. Container, Abi? Then in that word container.txt, did you see give me that line?
Yes.
Now, one thing I intentionally did is that, I have container here, right? Small letter C. I have capital letter C container. What if I just wanted to search, ignoring case? Can use grep -I, case insensitive. Container. What am I doing now? Container, right? Container.txt. This will give me the 2. Are you there? So you can do a lot of things with grep. A lot of things you want to do, you can do it with grep. Now, remember as well that I try to, I try to, create a file called number. Remember this file called number, right? Let us create a new file called numbers2 now. vi numbers2 or number 1, for example. I don't want to put random numbers now. Sorry. 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, Okay. Now I have created these numbers, right? Let's clear my screen again. Cat numbers 1. This is this information, right? Now I want to sort this file. How can I sort this file? Sorry, it's not this one, Jerry. Cat numbers, then 1, then you pipe. There's piping. Why is this one not working? Just a minute. Sort is not working. Let me just manage quickly. Sorry. I need to manage sort lines of text. Blah, 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 blah. Ignore case sensitive. Blah, blah, blah. Humans. Debug. Check. Okay. And it should work. Then I'm getting something wrong. This is one of the things that you need to learn. Something is wrong here. I'm trying to sort this file. It's not sorting. What am I doing wrong? Anybody? Okay, it's sorted now. Oh my God. Look at this now. The file is sorted now. It's sorting it. Look at the way it's sorting it. 0, 2, 2, 21. It's sorting it by the first digit. Can you see? Hello?
Yes, we can see.
Can you see? Can you see what I'm showing you?
Yeah.
It's sorting it by the first digit. That's what it's doing there. Now, you can also want to say, okay, you don't want it to also sort it by the first. Maybe you want to sort it like, in the way it's supposed to be. Like, take the what's it called, the highest number first, take the lowest one. You can do that as well. You get me? Like not using those 1, 2, 3, the way I said it. And at the same time, you can also try to also get unique characters. Like, characters that are unique. Like, for example, now let us do it again now. Let us sort that file again.
Sorry.
Okay, go on.
I don't know how to come out
Or
of
where?
file, like where you put WQ bank.
The text editor.
WQ bank, press enter now.
I can't come out.
Are you typing
to
capital letter or small letter?
No. I don't know, but it's not. It's not even rest. I don't know how to come out.
I think you should be writing this down. Then later on, you do your practice.
Maybe we can look at it together. I need to be fast. Sorry, please.
Yes.
I want to quickly show you something. What was I saying? Okay, I think I want to sort this file again. Number.1. Then I want to use unique now. What did you see there? You can see that in this place, we have 5 coming out 2 times, right?
Yes.
We have 2 coming out 2 times. But now it has only sort for the unique characters. That is why you see 2 ones, 5 ones, these ones. Now imagine how you want to sort and you want to know how many times this number is actually in that environment. You can use that C. and to tell you that what? We have 2 times, we have 5 2 times. I need to be fast. Okay, let me go to another thing. Okay, word count, WC. WC is word count and is used to what's it called? To count the number of maybe lines, the number of characters you have in a file, for example. In that my file numbers, now if I do WC/L numbers, the answer should be 20. I have 20 numbers in that place. You get me? So if I also count, for example, if I want to say WC/L, you can find L. If you want to man WC, I need to be fast now. Man WC, it will give you a lot of things. You can count lines, you can count number of words in a file, you can count characters in a file, you can count number of bits in a file. That's what WQ does. Now, let us go to what do you call it? T. T is basically used to send standard inputs into standard standard output, and to log it in a file. That is what T does. Take for example, we want to cut clear, for example, we want to cut is a file I created, Container Kings, I think. Okay, we want to cut this file now. And now I want to T this file. I want to T it into another file. Now let me say new file.txt. Did you see what it does? I cut this file. It shows me an output, but now it has now saved this into a new file called new file.txt. So if I run ls, I'll see a file called what? New file.txt. You can see this, right? So T is mostly used when you are running a command in a terminal. Maybe you want to run a script, for example, and you want to log those scripts inside in that file. You can use this T to run the output of what is coming out in your in your shell into another file. That is what T is doing. So if you cut new file.txt, you will see the information there. I need to be fast. There are other commands to, like where is it? Like tr, translate. Translate is basically used to to maybe convert capital letter into small letter and so on. Let me quickly do one for you. What's the name of our file again? Maybe say I want to cut containers, for example, containers.txt. Now I want to translate it now. I want to translate, what should I translate? Maybe I should translate kings. The thing about or let me say everywhere I see, the thing about kings is that the translate is that anywhere you see that number, anywhere you see K, small letter K, small letter I, small letter G, small letter S, it converts to capital. So that is what it does. Kings now. Can you see that? Do you see the output now? That is what translate does. Now, let me quickly go to a quick one. File permission. This is the most important. I'm leaving this slide. I'm done. Now, file permissions. Okay, this is what I'll show you. File permissions in Linux, it's very, very simple. And it's also one of the most important part of Linux that you need to know. When it comes to file permission in Linux, there are 3 hierarchies, and which was also what helped me in the last class. I'm sorry, when I was trying to get access to a file that they were telling me I don't have permission to it. In Linux, we have 3 types of groups. 3 types of people that can have 3 categories of people that have access to a file. We have the owner of the file, we have the group of the file, and we have others in that file. What do I call it? The owner, the group, and the group. Let us go to our terminal. Clear. ls-l. When you run ls-l, basically, what ls-l gives you is what is in this place, which I've explained. What it does is that it first of all lets you know what is the file type. Is it a directory? Is it a regular file? You can see the one that's a directory is what? Capital letter, small letter D. And the one that's empty is what? Just dash. Just like we have dash, that is what? That is D here, right? And others are just what? Dash, dash, dash. Now, it now tells you the first part, the first 3 digits, this one, sorry, the second 3 digits after that is the permission for the owner. The next 3, I'm coming on. The next 3 is permission for the, please, this is very, very important. Oh, I may stop here after this. It's very, very important. This is for the permission for the group. And the next 3 is permission for the others. Now, what are the kind of permission you can have on a file? You can have read, write, execute. There is no other permission that you can have other than these 3 permissions. RWX. Now, if you look at what you are seeing on the screen now, I told you that the first 3 is what? Permission for the owner. That means the owner of this file has what? Read, write, access. The Group has what? Read-write access, and others have what? Just read only. Look at this directory. The owner has what? Read-write execute. The group has what? Read-write execute. And what? Others have what? Read and execute.
Execute.
This is what I am explaining here. Now, another thing is this column explain the number of links that you have to that file. I'm going to explain this in this slide. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. It's going to explain it here. When I'm talking about symbolic links and so on, like I'm going to explain to you. So this is just the number of what? The number of add links that you have in that file. This next column talks about the owner of the file. So in this place now, the owner is what? Ubuntu. And the next one is also what? Is the group of the file. So a simple way you can know this is this. If you go to cd ls-l/etc, where was that place I went to first? var/logs or something /amazon or something like that. Abi?
Yes.
You can see here that what? The owner of the file is what? Root, right?
Yes.
Group is also what? Root. Am I root? No. Am I Amazon? Am I root? So that's why I don't have permission because I am others. Abi?
Yes.
And I have
Yes.
that is why I could not access this file. Another thing, look at this file as well now. The owner is what? Syslog.
Okay.
ADM. So the ADM has what? Only read access to that file. The owner have what? Read-write access to that file. Now, I've explained this. The next command, the next column is the size of the file, which is given in bytes. So all these files that we have created now, these are the size of the files. The next one is the date and the time the file was created. And finally, we have the name of the file. That is what is being explained here. Now, an important thing, how do you change permission of the file? How do you change owner of a file? How do you do this? Let us do it together. Let us take a simple example, Kamilu 2 or 3, any of them now. This file is owned by what? Is owned by Ubuntu. Let me say I want to change the owner to root. All I have to just run is she what?
Moot.
Own. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You own. Change owner of the file. Abi.
Okay.
So I've told you, there are different ways you can do things. Shane has explained to you. You can use chi mode, you can use chi own, you can do a lot of things. I'm going to explain the difference between chi mode and chi own for you. Chi own. Change the owner of this file to what? Root. Abi? What's the name of the file? Kamilu _3. Abi? Permission was going to change the ownership. Okay, permission, operation not permitted. Why? Let me choose to do. I don't know why it's not saying that. I don't know. Okay, that's gone. ls-l. You see that the owner has changed?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Can you see that the owner has changed? Well, I've changed the owner to what? To root. Let me pick another man, another file, Emmanuel. This time, I want to change the group of the file, not the owner. So, chgrp, change group of that file. Let me say I want you to give this file to ADM, for example. Change the group owner, ADM, the file what? Emmanuel. ls-l. Do you see that the group has changed to what? Emmanuel. So, you use chi own to change owner, chi mode to change what? To change group. Now, what if you want to change the permission on the file? Then use the command chi mode. Now, in changing the permission of a file, you can do it using the numerical method or using symbols. What do I mean by numerical method? I'm sorry, used by symbols because it's easy to understand symbols. Look at this file, for example, now. This file, Ada, let me use Ada again. This file now, you see this file?
Yes.
You want to change the, what do you call it? You want to change the permission of this file. You get me now? Now, one thing is that everything that you have here has a number. RWX has a number. Read is represented by number 4. W is represented by number 2. Execute is represented by number 1. So when you see RWX, RWR, it means 764. You don't need to memorize it. It's very, very easy. Let me give you a link. There's what we call Shimode calculator on Google. If you don't know it, this is it. Shimode calculator is to give permissions to a file. So if I give permission 764, what does it give me? Read, write, execute, read, write, read, which is what is exactly here. Read, write, execute, read, write, read. That's the permission that you have on those files. So take, for example, you want to give maybe all permissions. If you click this, so what does it mean? It gives you 777. That everybody has what? Read, write, access. Are you with me? Let me say you only want to give others execute permission. What do you have? 711, Abi, for owner and group. So let me say you just want to give them read, write, 755. Let me say you want to remove execute from everybody. 644. Now I have a question. If I run 400, what's going to happen? What's going to be the permission of the owner, the group, and the public? Anybody, please volunteer to answer.
Just read for the owner.
Read for the owner.
Read for the owner.
Read for the owner. What about others?
Yes.
Nothing.
No permission. Yeah.
This is it. 400. You see? So these are the ways we change permissions. So for example, now if you want to change permission, now let us say you want to change Ada to 400 now. Abi? Ada.txt. ls-l. Does it change?
Yes.
Yes.
So an important thing. Finally, sorry, I'm out of time. So sorry. Symbolic links. In Linux, there's what we call inodes. And inode is just like, when Seun was telling, he said every user has an ID. Remember? In Linux.
Yes.
And he was telling you that, the same way every user has an ID, when you create a file in Linux, every file has a uniquely existing number that is attached to the file. That number is what we call inodes. What do I call it?
Inodes.
So whenever you create a file on a system, a file name is attached to a what? To an I number. That's an inode number. Now we now have two types of link. We have, so take for example now, we also use this inode to also know, how you have used how you have used the system files and some other things like that. Take for example now, if I want to know the inode number of all these guys now that is here, all I want to run is ls-li. Did you see that just give me the inode number? Did you see there? Hello.
Yes, we can see it.
That's giving me their inode numbers. Now, let us continue. If you want to create what's a symbolic link, what is a hard link? I'm going to explain to you now. What a hard link means is that two files have the same inode. What did I say? Two files have the same inode. That's what inode means. Sorry, hard link means. So how do you give two files the same inode? Let me show you something quickly. I have a file called, I don't know why Ada is just in my mind. Ada, sorry. Let me use you again.
No, it's fine. No, the Linux will be entering my head.
Okay, good. No wala. So, Ada, I want to give, do we have another person? Iman have used it. Can somebody give me their name again? I need another person name, please, quickly.
Fumi.
Fumi, okay. Now, I have, please, listen to me, please. There's no time. I have Ada, and I want to give her, I want to create a file called Fumi. Fumi is going to be the hard link of Ada. That means the two of them are going to point you to the same inode. How do I do it? All you have to run is this command. ln is going to create the link, and you give the name ada.txt. Then you're now calling Fumi Abi. Let me just give Fumi, let me say Fumi hard link .pdf. This is the file. So by the time you run ls-ln now, you see that this is Ada, right? Look at the number of Ada. Look at the number for Fumi too. Do they have the same inode?
Yes.
That is the way it works. Very, very simple. Now, what is symbolic link? Symbolic link is just name mapping. So this time, instead of Ada and Fumi to be having the same inode, Ada is pointing to Fumi. I'm sorry, Fumi is pointing to Ada, but Ada still has a inode. So in this case, Fumi will have a different inode, Ada will also have a different inode, but there's a mapping between their names.
Sorry, can I ask this last question?
Yes, please go on, ma'am.
So in what scenarios do you use this symbolic link where
you use them very, very well? For example, when maybe you want a file to reference another file.
Okay.
That's where we do it. It's also used in system files a lot as well. I'm just giving extra, but it's important. So let me come again. Symbolic link means Ada Fumi is referencing Ada, but this time Fumi has her own inode, Ada has her own inode. Let us use Emmanuel now, for example, to create a symbolic link. Now, give me a guy's name. Anybody, please.
Sabo.
Abu. Okay. Now I want to create
Sabo.
Sabo.
Like
okay,
Sabo Yaga.
Sabo. Okay. Now, let us say I want to create a symbolic link for Emmanuel. All I have to just use the same command, ln, but this time put s to make it symbolic link. Some people also call it soft link. It's the same name if you ask an interview. Emmanuel, now Sabo, let me say underscore soft link. Not by force that you put underscore, it's just my own way of symbolic, my own name of identifying it to soft link, right? Now let us run ls-li. You will see that, you see that it's referencing Emmanuel now. Can you see?
Yeah.
Can you see that Sabo is referencing Emmanuel? But look at their inode numbers.
Are different.
411. What is this one? 209.
25.
Yes.
Abi?
Yes.
Abi now?
Yes.
So yes. Sabo. Do you see the information in Emmanuel there?
Same. Yes.
That is what we use soft link. We use one file to reference another file. So you don't need to be editing all the time. You can only be editing one and it should be getting the informations. So finally, I'm also going to explain compressing a file for you. When it comes to compressing a file, there are different ways you can compress file. You can use tar to compress, you can use zip, you can use gzip, you can use ZX to compress a file in Linux. And to compress a file, there are different. I'll compress everything I've been doing now. Obviously, in this piece, I'll compress everything for you now, no problem. Now, let us say you want to compress all these files that we have here now into one file, for example. And you want to make it very, very easy. Let's say, okay, we have DAS. We have a lot of files in DAS as well. So maybe we can use that one for DAS to compress everything in that DAS. So you can make it a tar file, a zip file, a gzip, a bzip2, or ZX file. But the most commonly used one is tar. And if you man tar, for example, it will give you all the options that you can use in tar. Tar is what? It's an archiving utility. You can use all these things with it. So you can use tar, delete tar, append tar, list, and so on like that. Now, Q exit. Let me quickly create a file for you. Clear. Now, to tar a file, the syntax is tar dash. Now, there are now different options. Some people can say CFZ, zip, compress this file, and some people can say what do you call it? All this command I'm giving you is in manual. Let me show you. Tar again. What does C means? Create the file, right? F, append. Abi, what's it called? Z. Let me find Z. Where is Z? Where is Z? I not see Z. Where is Z? I did not see Z. Sorry. I'm not seeing it. Maybe when I scroll down, I'm not seeing it. There are a lot of things you have to be very, very careful. There are too many informations in man, so you need to know how to. Okay, let me use explain shell, so it will be fast. Explain shell. You see, create file, gzip it. You see, so if you want to create a file, what is it called, a gzip file, you can use tar for that. to create it. You can even tar XZF. You can use this as well to extract the file. So you get me now. You can use CZF no, this CZF. You can also use this to create a file in what's it call it in using tar. All you just need to put tar, the commands you want to run, the new name of the file, and what you want to zip. That is it. That is just it. Very, very simple, no stress, no wahala. Are we together? So in this place now, if I'm using Z now, I am going to be creating a gzip file if I'm using Z, because in that case, I'll be having a what is it called it .gzip tgz. What are we having at the end? So I just have to chip that in. And okay, sorry, oh my gosh, I've explained this. Linux processing, you can go through it. It's straightforward, no stress, very, very straightforward. I'll share this slide with you, very, very straightforward. Let me quickly show you quickly, Claire. Maybe you want to know all the all the process in your system. Use the command ps to know the process. Right now I'm running a batch, so I can use ps to run it. Now if you use man, you can get other options to use with px. This is what people usually use most often: px efx, ps aux. It's giving you more information. Look at it, px aux. It gives you more information about every other thing that's running on your system. You use px. You can use px efx as well, similar to px aux. It's the same thing as well. It gives you more information to do that. And you can also run commands in shell and so on like that. Maybe, for example, you want to know how long your system has been running. For example, this server now, if I run uptime, you can see this server has been running for since 214 215 251 up. That's been up from that time. I only have one user. This is the average load of that system, that system. You can see those information there. You can use free command to know your memory usage on your computer. You can see use free. This is memory information, the total memory, the one that I've used, and so on. This is a bit of system Linux. You can use htop and top to get your CPU utilization and so on your system. Let me quickly explain this one. Very, very important. Emma Bino, please. I'm begging my bosses so that they will not be angry. Let me explain this to you. When you are using top, it gives you what? The PID, the process ID, there's what we call process ID. It gives you process ID information. It gives you the user. It gives you the command. It gives you the CPU utilization and the memory. You can see those things, and it also tells you the command that is being run that is actually consuming memory. Take for example, maybe your boss tells there's one server that is running and consuming a lot of memory. You can run your top command to come and look at what is the server that is consuming that memory and what is the command, and you can go and kill that particular that process using the kill command with the process ID. I have put those information. I have put it here. So the same thing that htop will give you. Htop is just a bit colorful than top. You can see htop is sexy. It's very colorful, but the same thing. We have the same information. We have the same information. We have them here. Then if you shut down, if I want to shut down my system, I just put shut down, and I can put a particular time I want it to shut down. I can put it here. Then Linux pinging command. Oh my God, this is a lot. I'm sorry. 1 hour is not okay for me. Okay. Let me quickly show you.
Please, let's not rush it so that we'll understand.
No, you cannot get everything. You don't get what I'm saying. I cannot teach you Linux in a day. It's not possible. It's not possible to learn Linux in a day. But from the tasks I gave you, I have a lot of tasks for you, a lot of assignments for you. It will give you challenges for you to go and read and get to know some things, which is going to be perfect for you. You understand what I'm saying? So that is it. Now, when it comes to networking now, there are different commands you can use. You can use maybe a popular command that people used to use is that maybe you want to know like your IP address. Now, if you run IP, for example, it will show you, IP-A. It will show you the IP address. You can see these are the networks that are connected to this thing, and this is the IP address of my system. I can see it here, which is the same IP I'm running here. You can use this command to know your IP. If you want to know the host name of your computer, this is the host name of my computer. You can use this to know it. Maybe you want to know what is Google DNS IP, for example. You can use nslookup, google.com. It will give you the the DNS of Google. It gives you those information. It gives you there. So these are simple commands that you can use. You can easily use ping to ping to ping Google, for example, to know if Google will respond or not. Is it responding? Google is responding to me, so I know that it is reachable. These are things that you can you can use to, to do a lot of things and just network troubleshooting and so on like that. Backup and restore. I have talked about TAR. You can use TAR to archive your file. You can use secure copy to copy your file from one, from one location to another. You can also use rsync as well to do some of these things. I have tags for you, which is also going to make it more interactive. Bash scripting, you see, I didn't have any special for this because the interesting thing about bash scripting is that if you know how to use command lines, how to run those commands, all you are just doing is the same command that you are running on the interface, you are running it in a particular file, which is a bash file, and this time you are just putting conditions. That is just it. The same sort, the same copy, the same move, the same create user, the same delete file is what you are running in bash. But this time you are making it automated by putting conditions. So the same file, but you are just putting what? Different condition statements and conditional statements to it. So I guess that is going to be all. And thank you for your time. Sorry, apologies. I am Oladapo. I'm sorry, Oluwaseun. I'm also very, very sorry. And this is a lot, I can tell you. It's a lot. It's not easy to assimilate in a day. And but I have a lot of tasks for you. And also, as as extra tips for those of you that that love Linux very well and you want to know more, there is a website called I think it's Linux book, Linux handbook, yeah, linuxhandbook.com. If you go here, you can learn a lot of Linux. You can see Bash series. You can learn Linux, can learn Linux from Linux handbook. It's very, very important for you. If you also want to know a bit about system engineering, or sorry, system this thing, use SysExplore. Please take note of this website. I'm going to share it on the group as well. SysExplore, you see a lot of things. You can see how to use Linux cat command, 18 examples. You see a lot of things here. So these are simple commands that website that you can use to learn Linux. There's also a website called Linuxize, I think so. Yeah, Linuxize. Yeah, Linuxize is also where you see a lot of things about Linux. You can see Ubuntu, CentOS, command series. You can use that one a lot if you want to learn. If you want to learn Linux, these are But if you are the kind of person that you are tired, you want to learn Linux by game. I love those ones. I'm going to give you. I have them very well. You have my best one. This is not my best one. LinuxSurvivor.com. They give you, interactions. They give you games. You can play. You can see they call it Linux Survivor. So they can give you, remove a directory. They give you a task to do. You can see animals. They tell you, okay, maybe remove this particular animal or remove this snake, something like that. Which is very, very interactive, and you can learn one or two things. You can learn it from this from this environment. You can learn them. Then if you also go to my best one, people that are asking for my best one, my own best one is this Over the Wire. Over the Wire is one of the best. It's one of the best for you. If you like games, you can see this is a war game. So you can just select a scenario. This is Krypton scenario, for example, now. Or you can select anyone's. You can select, look at different levels. They give you the password and the username to log into the server. They give you the access to the server. This is access to the server. They give you SSH. They give you the ports in which you connect to that server. You log in and you do all these tasks. You can see this is the difficulty level. So they give you all these tasks. They tell you to do it one after the other. I don't know, this information on this level is on the, okay, they did it intentionally. Let us find another level, for example. Let me go to, I think, okay, this is Nathan. You can see this is the web server you're connecting to. They give you tasks to do. They give you tasks. Even as once you enter the place, you will see a lot of tasks for different levels in that server. And you have to make sure that, you complete. For people that want to learn about, what is it called? That want to learn about Vim. There is Vim Adventures. Vim Adventures. Vim Adventures is a game. You just press X. It's just like, let me press anything now. So it's telling me to find a key. I have to unlock this guy. So you can start, start learning how to move, and, you go up and down and, you continue like that. So these are different games that you can play to learn Linux. It is going to be helpful, I can tell you. And at the same time, you are going to enjoy it a lot. And if you are the kind of person that likes to likes to go maybe going through course series, use Linux Journey. Linux Journey will give you different segments in Linux. You can see permissions, process, devices, file system, and so on. You can use this Linux Journey. Maybe you can just click on networking basis. You can see different tasks. They give you questions, they give you quizzes. you're able to solve it, and it will help you. I am telling you, it will help you. So these are the informations I will give you. And finally, there is a Killer Coder, which is my friend. I know this guy, Pavel Piwosh. He's a good friend of mine. He created an environment here for Linux. Where is Linux, please? My God, Linux. Let me find Linux. Linux. I'm going to share this information with you, please. Okay, where's Linux? Oh, wow. No, this is not Linux. I'm not seeing Linux. Please, if anybody's seen Linux in this website, maybe I'll find it and I'll share with you. But Pavel Puosh said, okay,
screw down.
I've seen it. Pavel Puosh created, he's a Polish guy. He created different scenarios for you on Linux, how to copy file, how to move top commands, how to work with it. I'll advise you. This is inode. I'll advise you. Try at least, if you don't want to do any of them, try at least complete all the lessons that you see in this place. It's very, very important. See how to use soft link, add link, permission, cron tabs, and so on. You will get the information there. So if you even don't do any of them, try this and it will help you a lot. So I guess that will be all from my end. Thank you, everyone. And apologies.
Please do well to send it to us.
I will send it to the group. Don't worry. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Thank you. So it's been a fantastic period. I think almost how many hours? Almost 3 hours, right? So apologies, everybody, for keeping you to this hour. These are just part of the sacrifices, These are just part of the sacrifices that we just have to make, right? So big thanks to my co-founders, Sheung and Nurudeen. So the truth of the matter is, you can't be able to finish Linux within 2 hours. Even if we are here for the next 5 hours, we won't be able to finish it, right? So, and they've been able to do justice by going through the basics. So these are just like, we're just scratching the surface, so to say, the basics of what you need within the Linux environment. So once again, thank you so much, Nurudeen, for that wonderful session. Also for Shimon as well. Very expository. Thank you so much. Right. So going forward, our classes would not be more than 2 hours, right? So that we can have some form of breather, so to say. Do you understand? So our classes will not be more than 2 hours, but today's class was just an exception because of the weight, behind the course itself. So Nurudeen is going to share some of the URLs that I talked about, as well as the